It's Project Spicer back in again with another video, and today's video is a quick comparison between these two screwdrivers. Now, last comparison video we compared with the Universe Remote versus the Character Options screwdriver. Now, these both are the 12th Doctor's sonic screwdrivers made by Character Options, and these can also be made by Underground Toys as well. Now, they could be sold by them anyways. Now this one is was labelled as a 12th Doctor screwdriver, and this one is labelled as a 12th Doctor's second sonic screwdriver. Now there is a massive difference with these. Now after the Doctor lost this screwdriver, he had the sonic shades, and unfortunately we do not have those, so we cannot do that in this comparison video. But we can do a comparison video between this sonic. Now, I've done this review last year. I forgot when, but I've done this review last year. And I've done this video last year as well, just before Christmas. Or, well, actually, Christmas time at least. And if you don't know what a sonic screwdriver is, a sonic screwdriver is a piece of tool that the Doctor can carry around with him. It's a piece of modern technology the Doctor would use to help him get out of problems. But the only problem it does not work on is wood. Works on everything else but wood, or deadlock seal. Anyways, now these two screwdrivers have multiple lights and sounds. Well, this one has only the green sound, the green lights. This one has green and blue sounds. But first we're going to look at detail, and we're going to have a look at battery installation, how long does it take to put the batteries in, and extra bits. Okay? Right, so let's look at this one first. Now we have the emitter there, which is not really flush to the actual claws, it's more pointed out. And you can see the claws do not fit as tight around like the prop. The slats, well, I'm going to call them slats, the silver slats have little screws in, and on the prop it doesn't have screws because originally it has like a little sliding piece inside, and this is non-flickable. It's actually spring loaded, which I'll get to that feature soon. And the rivet, now these are supposed to be riveted on, which looks like they are, but the ring around it is the wrong shape. Especially when you extend the sonic, you can see it's got the wrong pattern, it's got a cross pattern. But basically, these gaps are usually filled in, especially in these little gaps here. And they're usually supposed to close round through the toy, like so, but in this case, the spring is too powerful. And having a look at the handle section, we've got two little buttons, one for the activation, which is to do with the light sounds, and another one to extend the sonic. Now, on the sonic itself here, there is supposed to be two rivets, like on the prop, but there isn't. Instead, you've got the seam where there's moulding through the mould. Now, the stitching effect, the buttons are not in line with the copper section like on the prop, and there's usually a micro switch on the bottom of the lever section, but this one's actually plastic. Everything's plastic except from these screws and the rivets. And then getting around to this section here, well, obviously this is correct to the show, but this panel is absolutely not true because it's too long, it's too narrowed, and it's the wrong size and wrong paint job. But on this end, now, usually the 12th Doctor had a removable core when he was inside of a Dalek. Now, I do have the screwdriver, well, it was a working screwdriver, but this is my battered version of it anyways. But usually the Doctor would have a removable section of this. This is the 12th Doctor's sonic, with a removable core. Now, let's take a look at the modified screwdriver. This is a modified one, where it's flickable. I did take the spring out. You won't be able to see that, but I did take the spring out. So, yeah. and this one has still got the red button. Now, the Sonic that I just shown you a second ago is the touch control one, which was the more improved one made by character. But the only problem is with the touch control one is it doesn't last as long as these or the single button version. And there's usually a big ugly battery compartment at the back of the screwdriver. Now, moving on to the not second Doctor, but the 12th Doctor's second screwdriver. This is his second sonic screwdriver. This was released in Hell Bent, and the Doctor used it in a little scene where the TARDIS shot the screwdriver, but really the screwdriver itself wasn't present at. It was basically wasn't made yet, but it was, if you know what I mean. It does something like that on the playlist on Doctor Who. You should be able to check that out. Now this is near to screen accurate you're gonna get, but Roboto Replicas has actually made one of these, which is actually true to the show, and that's the only. These are the two screwdrivers that has only been made. So now this is damn near screen accurate you're gonna get for a toy, but it does look recognisable for a screwdriver. As for most people, like well, it was Vote Saxon 7, but it's now Dark Lord Saxon, and he said he didn't like the screwdriver until he got the Roboto Replicas, because you get to feel like how heaviness it was and what it was like. And he does say it looks like it was melting through his TV screen. That's the Roboto Replicas version, but we're talking about the toy, not the Roboto. Now we have the emitter pyramid section here, but on the really this should be bulking out a bit more on the window here, and these sides do tend to rotate, but you can rotate them to make sure they stick, which I have done. Now on some screwdrivers this does come off the pyramid section, and I don't know why it does, but I've tried sorting it out. Sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't, depending on your screwdriver. Now there is like paint issues with these, like paint scratchings and everything, but you can't help that. But that's these days with paint. So this is a nice window looking display, and this is like the time rotor out of the middle section of the TARDIS, and it looks like it's mimicked the time rotor and mimicked the panels of the TARDIS, and I do like that, as it does look really effective when lit up. Now these sections people do not like. Now I do actually like these, because it does acts like it does something, but you don't know what it does. But these look like claws out of the Matt Smith screwdriver. Well, this screwdriver anyways, this isn't Matt Smith, but this is the Capaldi one. It looks like it can spring open and do something, but I don't think it does. You got the switch here, which usually on the prop is usually a switch that will just stay down or stay up. Now there is a person on YouTube called Same Sonic Different Case has done a modification to the screwdriver, and I have tried to attempt to do that modification, but unfortunately it is very rare you're going to get this done, because really all it does is modifying your switch to actually make it positioned no matter where you want to go. Same Sonic Different Case has also done the red setting version of the screwdriver, so they're in my Sonic Screwdriver playlist, but you're going to have to go through it all. Well, you can just pick the parts you want to see, but I had to get another one after this one broke. So yeah, now this bit looks a bit like the 12th Doctor's ring, but if you take away the black, then it does look like the ring. And now the rivets here should be gold, but on the toy it's silver. And it does have the actual screws like on the show, but except from on the emitter. On the prop it's there, but on the toy it isn't. And these bits here, you've got the grills, and these have been edged in, and these are actually the it's been cut and painted. These pieces look to be riveted on, but these are just plastic glued on or something. you got the blue section here, and this is where you would hold it. And this bit just tapers off at the end with a little silver nipple. For battery installation, for the 12th Doctor screwdriver, the usual one, you just twist and pull 90 degrees, boom. And then undo these two screws. Make sure your claws are all the way tucked in. Then you should be able to remove 3 button cell batteries, which are already installed in this toy when you buy it. Then you just put the screws back in. Just like so. You line up this triangle section here to this button here. Then you twist it like that. Boom. You're ready to go. For this one, people have been noticing all the way I've been doing this video that they haven't noticed no label gap or no, basically no inaccurate points on the screwdriver except from the touch a little bit of stuff, but most of the point they're thinking where's the battery access, but I'm sure most of you have this toy, so yeah, it's right here. You can see right through. There is a screw on the bottom where it unscrews this end cap, so I've done that before with the other one. You just get 2 flip-side screwdrivers, and the neat things about these screws is that these have little caps underneath them to make sure they don't fall out. So basically, if you drop the screws, they won't even come out, they'll just stay in the plastic sleeve. As you can see, there is some sort of plastic ring around these plastic washers. Again, 3 button cell batteries are installed in the toy when you buy it or purchase it, but sometimes, in America, or depending on where you get it from, the batteries are taped at the bottom of the packaging and not actually installed in the toy. So there is that point. But most of the times, if you're in the UK or anywhere else, you can get them already installed. Just like so. Now there is one problem with these battery packs on these. These do tend to bulk out due to the glue has worn out. And there you go, that's how you install the battery. Now for features, these screwdrivers can do both lights and sounds. This one, you just press this usual button, and you do your usual sounds. Press it 3 times, and then you would press it 4 times. You can see that there is at least some motion of what it's meant to be doing, saying like the 4th sound is actually breaking the screwdriver. But on the original 11th models, this was the problem for most of the screwdrivers, because most people was leaving the screwdrivers soundless and they wanted the sound. And I know one guy has done 2 parts of fixing these and actually put a new speaker in from some old earphones. Now, some people will be thinking you can extend it. Well, it's spring loaded. And you can see, not really, yeah, you can see that the button has moved up. So, yeah, you can't really use that button, because there is literally 2 buttons, one there, and one there. So when extended, you would have to press this red button, which was not used in the show, and in fact Peter Capaldi had never used this extended. But there is actually one episode where the Doctor has his TARDIS shrunken down, and he was living inside of a toy of a TARDIS. You know them flight control TARDISes? Yeah, he was living inside of one of those. And Clara pretended to be the Doctor, and she went Dr. Clara, and she flicked the screwdriver like Matt Smith. And as for this new screwdriver, instead of the usual switch where it clicks and clicks, it's actually a spring switch, as you can see. Now this has two modes, in fact, yeah, it does have two modes, but you have your usual sounds. Now my batteries are slightly dying, so they won't be as bright as it used to, but you would have the green. And then go down. Now, I like this feature because no matter how many times you press it, you still get the same sound pitch for each light. And as for and then when you press it twice upwards, and again, press it down, you've got the chase mode, which looks really nice. And I know some sound effects is not really true to the show, but I like the way that Character Options has actually used something brand new for the toy. They've actually thought of actually adding something brand new that has never been used, but there is one sound in this screwdriver that has been used in the Trans-Temporal Sonic, which is the Build Your Own, which is like an extension pack to Build Your Own Sonic Screwdriver, which is this sound. And at least they've reused some of the sounds that they haven't used for ages, and I like the way that Character Options have actually used the initiative to actually make something new and not just use the same old selling point all the time. They've actually spiced things up, they change things up, and they actually do attend to acts of thinking, well, we've had people complaining about our screwdriver models and they've had to modify them a lot. We need to change it, and we need to think of what we should do to these. And they've actually started to listen to people. But as for one company, they do take on board what people say, and they actually do change that, and I like that a lot. So, overall, these screwdrivers are both correct, and, well, great I meant to say. And when extended, these screwdrivers are, well, the 12th Doctor's second screwdriver is nearly the same height as the extending 12th Doctor screwdriver. It's just this emitter is a bit too tall, but if I was to compare it to the one company, I think it would be about the same size, which I'm going to go get right now. So here is the 12th Doctor's Sonic Screwdriver Universe remote, which is the extended one, which again you can flick. Again, compared to the size comparison of the 12th Doctor's second screwdriver, I would say it's about the same size. Now, speaking about the same size, the Rubber Replicas has actually, well, Vote Saxon 7, but I'm going to call that Vote Saxon 7, but it's actually Dark Lord Saxon, has actually done a review about the Rubber Replicas, and it was actually near enough the same size as the Rubber Replica screwdriver, so we are getting close to the actual size these days than we used to do. So, thank you for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this little comparison video. If you want to see more comparison videos of these screwdrivers, please let me know in the comment section below. And I will do the worst to best screwdrivers of all the time. And on that note, hope you guys enjoyed that. Have a great day, and I shall see you soon. Bye! Perhaps I can pause it.